Marcus, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, first of all, how's your health? And can you just kind of describe your journey coming back from the injury? When did you finally feel healthy, and what are your feelings about this year?
My health right now, I would say 100%. Last season it was a long journey after the Maryland game, tearing my ACL. But and then with COVID, it was harder than what it should have been because of COVID. But I feel like everything went smoothly. Shout out to all the trainers and everything. But I feel good for this upcoming season.
Thank you.
All righty, we'll go next to Dave Biddle, 247.
Hi, Marcus. It's a lot of talented running backs are competing for the job. 6 of you guys, 6 scholarship running backs. How would you kind of break down the competition? What's your view on it right now?
I really don't have a view on the competition. Everybody's putting in their work equally, and we're all striving to be the best that we can be.
All righty, we'll go next to Patrick Murphy. Patrick.
Marcus, you said the COVID situation complicated things a little bit. Do you mean in your recovery? I mean, what exactly went down that maybe made it take longer than you expected?
Well, going into the spring, they shut everything down. It was the global pandemic, so we wasn't allowed at the school. So everybody had to be home, and I didn't have the same treatment wise back home that I would have up here. So that was kind of just, up here I would be doing treatment every day, working on necessities. And back home, it was kind of like I had to do everything kind of on my own.
All righty, next up, Austin Ward, Lettermen Row.
Marcus, after that long of a layoff, were you, surprised at all to just jump right back into the national championship game with all that time you were missing? What was it like to be thrust back into that situation?
I wasn't really surprised because I know I was putting in the work. And yeah, I really wasn't surprised because that was the ultimate goal, to get back on the field as soon as possible and try to make an impact,
All right, we'll go next to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Marcus, are there things that you can do right now that you couldn't do even at the end of last season, just 3 or 4 months ago? Like, how different do you feel physically today than you did just 8, 9 weeks ago?
Definitely my cutting ability. Like at the end of last season, I still wasn't able to cut, as sharply or as quickly as I can now. And that's just come with the more rehab that I've been doing, like the more treatment I've been doing, working with the trainers and everything. So.
All right, we'll go next to Tony Kerdeman, Buckeye Scoop.
Marcus, we saw you as a freshman average over 9 yards a carry. So are you back to that form? Are you better than that? Where are you in relation to how you were as a freshman?
Honestly, it's hard to tell right now because we haven't put on no pads. We haven't, played really much football. But I personally feel like I've made a lot of improvement since my freshman year, even after the injury. So we're gonna see.
All righty, and the last question for Marcus, we'll go to Dan Hope from 11 Warriors.
Hey, Marcus, just obviously a lot of guys competing for time in this running back room. Just what do you think are your best qualities, the thing that you can bring to this offense that should get you on the field?
I would say my decision making and really just like athletic ability.
All righty, Marcus, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And we're going to bring in Master Teague here next. All right, Master, thank you very much for joining us. Let's start it out with Tim May from Lettermen Row. Tim.
Thank you very much, Mike. Hey, Master, I'm just wondering, in that running backs room right now, do you feel like an uncle? Do you feel like the oldest cousin in the room? You know what I mean? What is that like, being sort of the leader of that group? And then what do you think you guys are going to be all about this coming season?
Man, like I say, it's a little weird being an old guy now, being a veteran. Kind of went fast, but was long at the same time. But it's rewarding too. I get to pour into the guys things that I know I can share with them, and really just want to be the best unit in the building. As much as we can, do everything. The coach is telling us, be on our P's and Q's, and so I feel like we're off to a good start. We got a good room, good energy, so I feel good about it.
All righty, we'll go next to Jeremy Birmingham from Lettermen Row.
Master, what have you seen really out of the young guys? Obviously, there's high expectations for Trey and Evan. I mean, as the leader of that group, what has been your role in kind of mentoring them, but also how hard is it to know that you're mentoring the guys that are fighting for your carries?
They're doing great so far. They're high attention to detail. They've been learning quick, and they love the game. So I think it's great. Like I said, I much as I can, I help them where it's needed. Everybody has a process when they come here, and they're going through their process. And like I said, I think we have a great room, and everybody's just making each other better. Yeah.
Thanks.
All righty, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on SI.
Master, give us an idea of what winter workouts were like for you. Obviously, the past season was chaotic and crazy and uncertain in so many different ways, but it almost felt like once the season ended, there was some sense of getting back to a more recognizable routine schedule with winter workouts. What was this time like for you here the last 2 months?
Like I said, it's getting back to a little bit of more normalcy. It was good, get workout in, get to be able to just train hard and get your body stronger, different speed work and different things we're working on. So definitely felt good. And, we had a little mishap that happened there for a little bit, but nothing too serious. But it definitely was relieving, I felt.
All righty, we'll go next to Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Master, in this early time that you've had around TreVeyon and Evan, what makes those two guys unique, and what kind of stands out about both of those guys?
Some broke up. I didn't quite get that.
Just what kind of, in this early time that you've been around TreVeyon and Evan, what kind of stands out and makes those two guys unique as players?
Like I said, I think attention to detail. They're very attention to detail, and they catch on quick. Different things being made, mistakes being made, or whatever, and then the next day they come back and they do it right. They're confident, and they're really close to each other too. They got a friendship and a bond there to make each other better, and haven't seen as much of that in the past. But so I think they're going to be great players here.
Already got time for two more for Master. So we'll go to Patrick Murphy, 247.
Master, we talked to you last year about coming back from the Achilles. I'm curious now, getting back out there, do you feel even more healthy with almost, I guess, a year now from the injury? Does it feel like there's even more stuff that you're able to do that maybe you were still a little limited with last year?
I feel good. I felt good, throughout the season, and feel good now. But of course, you keep on gaining strength just in all areas of your body. But no issues there. I just feel great.
All righty, and last question for Master to Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
And Master, you are the incumbent, but there are a lot of talented guys in the room. How much do you want to be the bell cow for this team? And what are your thoughts on the fact that it is a very deep room?
Of course, I want to be that guy. But like I said, we continue to make each other better, compete, and my role, whatever is going to be best for the team, that's going to be my role. But like I said, we got a lot of depth, a lot of guys, and that helps us in practice and helps us, stay fresh. So I think it's good for the overall health of the unit and team too.
If I could slip one more in about your architecture, getting accepted in the master's program, what do you want to do with that?
No, yeah, I want to be an architect. That's something that I'm passionate about. I didn't do it for my undergrad, but excited to get into it with my master's program. But I just want to do that, and with that, Lord willing, I want to serve the community and do whatever I can, to help those in need. So, but yeah, definitely that's another passion of mine, and excited to get into it. So,
thank you.
Awesome. All righty. Thank you, Master. Really appreciate your time today.
yeah, appreciate you guys. Have a good one. God bless.
All right, we're going to bring in Miyan Williams next. All righty, Miyan, thank you very much for taking all the time. Let's start it out with Joey Kaufman from the Dispatch.
Miyan, what was it like for you to get on the field in the Sugar Bowl and contribute in that win, and then obviously not get the chance to play in the national title game? But just looking back on your overall freshman season, how do you feel you did, especially kind of late?
It felt good. It was fun to play out there with my teammates. It was just an experience that I enjoyed.
All right, we'll go next to Dan Hope from 11 Warriors.
Hey, Miyan, what do you think are the things that you were able to show last year out there playing that can help you get more playing time this season?
I feel like a little bit of speed, like a little bit of wiggle. Yeah.
Right, next up, we'll go to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Miyan, how did getting to play in the roles that you did late last season and make contributions in those big games, how did that help your confidence going into this spring where there's such a competition now for depth chart spots?
I mean, I feel like everybody should just come out to practice every day to just get better than you did the day before. Like, just keep getting better every day.
All righty, next up, we'll go to Doug Lamarice, Cleveland.com.
Miyan, can you just relive that moment for us a little bit of here you are, it's a playoff game, you're called on. How did you feel going into the game? Were you nervous? Were you excited? And then just in that moment, how did you feel about the fact that you did your job when your team needed you?
I just really just stay prepared. Like, I practiced for it, so I'm already ready for it. My name called in the game. Coach Alford, he just told me to always be ready because you never know when your name will get called. Like, just getting in, it's a playoff game, excited, got the blood rushing, and it was just out there having fun with my teammates.
All righty, next up, Austin Ward, Lettermen Row.
Miyan, we know that you weren't like the most highly rated recruit, but you gained a lot of fans, I think, with the way that you were playing late in the season, become a little bit of a social media hit with this fan base. Have you noticed that at all? Have you sensed that maybe you won over some fans or proved some doubters wrong in that freshman year?
Yeah, because, I mean, I had got way more followers on my social media. So, yeah, after that Clemson game, my followers went up a lot. A lot of people start talking about me, start noticing me.
And how does that feel?
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it don't really affect me. It's just like surprising to me.
All righty, next we'll go to Dave Biddle, 247.
Hi, Miyan. What's the biggest thing or things that you want to improve on this spring and even going into the fall? And what are your expectations for you personally this fall?
Just to be a better player than I was last year. That's pretty it.
If I could just a quick follow-up, what about like your game though specifically? Is there something like about your game as a running back that you really are focused on improving?
to get faster.
All righty, next up, we'll go to Steve Hellwagon, 247. All righty, let's try Patrick Murphy. Patrick.
Miyan, a year ago, you were the freshman in the room. Now you've got two talented guys kind of going through this for the first time. What advice have you given TreVeyon and Evan as they kind of go through their first college experience and first time playing college football?
I told them, like, just come to practice every day, just ready to practice, go hard, and just try to be better than you was the day before.
All righty, next up, we'll go to Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus District.
Hi, Miyan. You've got a unique style because you're kind of squat. You kind of get lost. Tony Alford would say you kind of get lost by the line. How much do you use that to your advantage? Just kind of describe what you think makes you unique as a runner.
I can, like, get low when I run, like move around a lot. So, like, a lot of people, they probably just lose me. Because I never, like, in high school, I never really had, like, a big O-line. Like, we all was the same height. So I was just running, being seen. But when I got to college, it's pretty hard to see me when I got the ball.
And that's an advantage, I assume. Right?
We'll go to Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on SL.
And Miyan, I'm just curious about spring ball this year and how important you think this time is for you, considering, you know, what happened last spring and you know, obviously all the chaos that's sort of come here the last 12 months.
I feel like spring for everybody is just time to, like, see what you need to work on and get better at whatever you need to work on, whether it's from footwork to just, like, getting faster, getting stronger. It's just like, it's like an extra, let me think, like an extra season to just better yourself.
All righty, Miyan, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it today.
Welcome.
We're going to bring in TreVeyon Henderson next.
And we're going to bring in Jerry Emick to call on the guys. We had Brendan last. Okay, so all the hands are up, so I'm still assuming that you guys are still wanting to ask questions. So next question will go to Stephen Means with Cleveland.com. Stephen, you get the first question for TreVeyon Henderson.
TreVeyon, I know you didn't get a chance to play football for your senior year. Can you just kind of take us through, you know, how you were getting prepared to get to Columbus and, like, how these first couple of months have gone for you?
Preparing for Columbus, I worked pretty hard. During that time, I didn't have a season. I was training with my track coach at my high school, and he's been getting mentally and physically prepared for this moment.
So, sorry about that. Next up, Joey Kaufman with the Columbus Dispatch. Joey?
TreVeyon, do you think not having a season last fall set you back, or do you think the work you were able to do with your track coach and speed work and staying in shape kind of mitigated that? How much do you think you were hurt by not having a senior season?
No, not really. I don't think it set me back or anything. But, like, we put the pads on Wednesday. All I need is just that one good hit to wake me up, and I'll be good.
Okay, next up, we'll go with Spencer Holbrook with Lettermen Row. Spencer?
It's been great. The older guys, they give me a lot of tips. They taught me a lot of things, and it helped a lot. Like, everything is pretty like easy to me. Like, I know what I'm doing now. I know where I need to go and things like that. So the other guys, they've been helping me and Evan a lot.
Next up, we're going to go with, I'm going to stay with the Lettermen Row group just because I know this guy's covered them. We're going to go with Jeremy Birmingham, Lettermen Row. Jeremy?
Hey Trey, after committing to Ohio State without ever visiting and being committed for 9 months, what was it like for you just to walk into a building on campus for the first time? But how was the overall transition been for you, getting there and actually getting to meet the coaches that you grew this relationship with entirely virtual?
Overall, the transition has been great. The coaches, they're very good. I like them a lot. They're what I expected, and Ohio State is what I expected.
Was there one building that you were like, oh, that's the one I'd really have to go in first? I'm fascinated by that first day of getting on campus when you could actually walk into a building for the first time. I mean, what was the first impression? What was the one thing that really caught your eye and that made you realize that it was the right choice?
Really, the Woody. Like, you see all the picture of the great players who walk through this building. You see all the trophies and stuff, and it's just like all motivation. Like, every time I walk in here, it just motivates me to go harder and do better.
Next up, we'll go with Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Bill?
Hi, TreVeyon. I want to ask you about Master Teague and the way that if he has mentored you, and if so, in what ways? And obviously, you're part of the competition. I'm just curious how that relationship is.
He's mentored me very well. Like, when I got on campus, like, he was just showing me where to go for real, showing me what to do. And so is the other guys, like everybody. They've been showing me where to go and what to do, and that's helped out a lot. Because I've never been here or anything, and I didn't know like what this program was about. And so they taught me about the program, how the coaches expect things like this way or that way, things like that.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll go with Tim May from the Tim May podcast. Tim?
Hey, TreVeyon, nice to see you again. Number one, what changes about you when the pads do go on? Is that when is that your approach, that's when a running back really shows what he's made of, what he's all about? Just give me that metamorphosis you go through when it's real.
When it's real, I think I'm a big competitor. I'm going to compete. I'm going to give it my all. I don't back down or anything. But like when the pads don't come on, like that lets you know like who's real and who's not.
There's 6 of you guys wanting to be the guy. How's this going to shake out?
Shoot, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we're all great running backs. We've been competing a lot and making each other better. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Thank you, man.
Next up, Nathan Baird with Cleveland.com. Nathan?
TreVeyon, we've naturally asked Coach Day, Coach Wilson. We'll ask Coach Alford here in a couple of minutes. He might have a similar answer about what it takes for yourself and Evan to carve out a role as freshmen, and they keep coming back to the word trust. What does that mean to you as a freshman? How do you earn this coaching staff's trust?
Shoot, just making plays and like paying attention to details and paying attention to like plays. Like when you make a mistake, you got to correct it the next day. And I think that's how you earn trust, like making plays and paying attention to details.
We're going to go with 2 more questions for TreVeyon. Next up, Dave Biddle with 24/7 Sports. Dave?
Hi, TreVeyon. If you guys had a game tomorrow, a regular season game, what's something about your game that you feel like you'd be confident that you're ready to roll tomorrow if you guys had a game? And maybe what's something that you really feel like you need to improve on before you actually see the field?
Yeah, I'd rather like not talk about it. I'd rather just show it. Let you all decide up to that.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
All right, and final question for TreVeyon. We'll go with Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Dan?
Hey, TreVeyon, what do you feel like are the biggest things that you need to do between now and September to give yourself a chance to be in that rotation week 1?
What do I think? That's a great question. To be honest, I think I've been doing a great job, and I just need to stay consistent with that.
Great. TreVeyon, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to bring in Evan Pryor next on Running Back Media Day, Spring 2021 football. We're going to open up the questions for Evan with Austin Ward from Lettermen Row. Austin?
Hey, Evan, couple practices into spring. Just curious what you think the competition will be like for you guys, just 5-6 guys competing for carries. And talking to you last year that you were okay with sharing the load. That might be probably what happens for the Buckeyes this year. How do you see this shaking out?
No clue yet. Just just coming in here grinding every day, giving it all we got, and then we'll see how this thing shakes out in a few weeks.
Next up, we'll go with Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. Brendan?
Yeah, Evan, just try to give us an idea of what life's been like for you since you've come on campus, and how you've tried to manage the probably drinking through a fire hose with all the classes and all the football related stuff, and just trying to get comfortable, let alone get out there and compete.
Yeah, first getting here, things were a little crazy because, you don't know how to really manage your time like that. You're on a schedule, back at home and stuff. But, I came around here in the last few weeks. So being able to just juggle everything, getting here on time, things like that. But, I feel like I'm juggling it well. It's going great.
Next up, we'll go with Stephen Means with Cleveland.com. Stephen?
Evan, in this deep and talented running back room, what kind of allows you to stand out from your skill set in comparison to a lot of these other guys?
I think personally, my ability to make plays in space, my route running, and my ability to make a difference in the open field. Really just being here with Coach Alford too, him adding different things to my game to help improve me. So.
Next up, we'll go with Joey Kaufman from the Columbus Dispatch. Joey?
Evan, what do you feel you just bring to Ohio State in this running back competition and kind of fighting for carries? What do you think is your best attribute as a runner?
My best attribute as a runner, definitely to hit the home run. I feel like from anywhere on the field, I can go to the end zone.
Next up, we'll go with Spencer Holbrook with Lettermen Row. Spencer.
Yeah, it's been great just being around the guys, meeting them, guys like Marcus and them. So we know it's competitive every day. So we just, first off, we started off by building a brotherhood first because, we're brothers first. We're going to share the field together. So, we obviously know it's competitive, but, that's not something that, is maybe spoke about every day. So we're just going to keep coming in every day, making each other better and grinding.
Next up, we'll go with Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Hi, Evan. What's been the biggest adjustment you've had to make, whether it's academically or with football? Because it is obviously a major adjustment coming in here.
Definitely a major adjustment will be just growing up in general. Nobody's gonna hold your hand here. It's go time for real. You're basically grown at this point. On your own time, you got to make the right decisions, stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I had any issues. Doing some things, but definitely just being on your own, hits you.
Thank you.
Next up, Nathan Baird with Cleveland.com. Nathan.
Hey, Evan, with you and TreVeyon coming in together, that connection's probably going to you're always going to be kind of seen as a duo throughout your time here at Ohio State. How are you guys pushing each other on the field? Master said you guys are sort of competitive and pushing each other on the field. And how are you helping each other off the field?
Yeah, off the field, we're roommates, so every day, low key we compete in everything. If Trey cooks something, maybe I'll cook something. See what tastes better. But on the field as well, we're pushing each other. But that's not just us; that's all guys in the room. Striving to be as great as we can be, and fighting for a spot to play.
You guys cook for each other?
Not for each other, nah. We might do some lobster tail tonight though, but we do like breakfast, stuff like that. Separate though, I got my pots, he got his pots, so.
Next up, Dave Biddle with 24/7 Sports. Dave.
Hi, Evan. I have a real hard-hitting question for you. What are your thoughts on Columbus, Ohio so far and Ohio State's campus so far?
Yeah, I love it. I just get love from everybody.
anywhere. The people here are just good, great, cool people. You know, a lot of the time you meet a lot of outside people. They want to talk to you about, you know, football, things like that. But, you know, just great general conversation, getting to know somebody outside the football team. And that's all I've been feeling here in Columbus is just straight love.
We're going to go with two more questions for Evan. Next up, Jeremy Birmingham with Lettermen Row. Jeremy?
Evan, Trey said that he needed to get hit one good time on Wednesday to really wake up to realize what it's like to be back playing football. You missed your senior season as well. What's been the biggest adjustment on the field for you, and how ready do you feel like you are to get hit again? I mean, you see these guys, you know, the size of some of these guys you're playing against now, and how ready are you for that?
Yeah, I'm ready. First day of spring ball was fast, so, you know, feel like I've made that adjustment well. But regarding Wednesday, whatever happens. I know I'm gonna go hard and do what I do, and which is not, you know, try to get hit. So, but if it happens, oh well, we're gonna keep pushing.
Is that saying something about the difference between you guys? Trey said he needs to get hit, and your goal is to not get hit.
Yeah, my goal every time is to go to the end zone.
All righty, Evan, thanks so much for your time and have a good rest of the day.
Sure, thank you guys.
It didn't scare you?
All right, folks, no introductions needed here. We've got running backs coach Tony Alford. I'm going to go ahead and open up the questioning with Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. Brendan?
Hi, Tony. Thanks for spending some time with us here.
Hi, Brendan.
Maybe we could start by, you know, just kind of trying to get your opinion on the overall competitiveness of the room right now. It's certainly a different room than it was even 2 years ago, but certainly last year too. Just the idea of how things are, you know, the camaraderie of the room, the way the young guys are fitting in, and what you're trying to accomplish with that this spring.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a great room. You know, the older guys are really taking to the young guys to help them out and teach them the ropes and how we do things here at Ohio State. And, great group of kids. I mean, phenomenal, unselfish. They all come from great homes. And probably, as we like to say, raised the right way, things of that nature. But really good guys and highly competitive guys, you know, and all of them are hungry to compete. But at the same time, they champion each other's efforts. They're guys in the first couple of days of practice that will sit down and explain, especially the older guys, the young guys, explain, hey, here's how we do this drill, or look at it this way, or look at the play this way, or these certain techniques that we're doing and teaching. So very unselfish, highly competitive, as I said, but very unselfish room.
Next up, we will go with Stephen Means with Cleveland.com. Stephen?
Tony, 2 of the last 3 years, you guys have tried, you know, the 2-back system, and it hasn't always necessarily produced the best results. How important is it maybe for, I don't know, usually a guy starts, as soon as the guy just kind of takes over as the bell cows, when you see him kind of go crazy, whether it's JK or last year with Trey, how important maybe is it between now and fall camp for maybe one guy to kind of emerge as that bell cow, or, you know, is that 2-back system something you still want to explore?
Well, you know, I say this all the time, and I said it last year, I said it 2 years ago, I said it 3 years ago, I've said it in my entire career, and I say it again, that we're going to do whatever we need to do to win games, Steve. And, you know, when some people might use, well, that's, you know, using the 2-back system or thing hasn't worked. At the end of the day, we're here to win games. And we say it hasn't worked, well, we won a lot of games around here. And we haven't won the big one like we want to in the past 2 years. Now, is that attributed because we played 2 backs or 1 back? That's debatable. But we're going to do whatever we need to do to win games. And if it's one guy and the bell cows, we like to say, then it shall be. If it's not, then it's not. But I think right now the biggest thing for us is to continue to grow as a football team, continue to grow as a unit, and obviously continue to grow individually with those players and be the best version of themselves and the best players they can be. And if that means that they emerge, one of them or 2 of them emerge and kind of separate themselves from the pack, then that shall happen. And in some regards, you know, that may happen. But time will tell. Right now, we're just trying to get better every day and go from there.
Thanks, Coach.
Next up, Joey Kaufman with the Columbus Dispatch. Joey.
Tony, obviously Master is the incumbent at running back, but you have a lot of options and a lot of depth in the running back room this year. So I'm wondering, how open do you see the competition for carries being, even with somebody like Master back?
Well, he is. Right now, if we started the game tomorrow, he would be. He's an incumbent starter. He's played the most and had the most reps of anybody in the room. But there's other really good players here too. And I'm really anxious to watch Mayan Williams. Here's a guy that, he had smattering of carries, a very small sample size, but with what he did have, he was very successful in those opportunities. And so, as he's continuing to grow into the program and in this offense, Marcus Crowley's coming back. Steele's had his moments. Now you got two young guys, so guys are going to get their opportunities, and they're going to get their opportunities. They're going to get the reps this spring, and like we say in all positions here, that you get what you earn. And if those opportunities are deserved and earned, then they'll be there for them.
Next up, Spencer Holbrook with Lettermen Row. Spencer.
Well, I think that I'd be lying if I said that you don't look at the past, to kind of set a gauge for where some things may go. I think we all do that in every walk of life. You do that in raising your own children. You look at the past and maybe past experience to say, well, what could potentially be, but no. But then at the end of the day, each situation, is its own situation in and of itself, and to try to put pressure on a young guy to say, well, JK did this back when a freshman, so you have to be able to do this. That's not fair. That's not fair to anybody. And I think that, we'll go through, we've only been practicing for 2 days. I think these young guys are very explosive football players. You can tell they've got some twitch and some burst in them. We'll just continue to work with them and see where this thing goes.
Next up, we'll go with Doug LeMaurice with Cleveland.com. Doug?
Hey, Tony. You have six guys in that room that look like they all certainly can play. You can't play 6 running backs. How will you handle this? Are there some conversations that by this end of spring you may have with some guys just to have honest talk about the depth chart? Because we know sometimes it's hard to play 6 running backs here. Maybe there are guys here who would have a chance to play somewhere else if they chose that.
Well, first of all, it is play 6 guys in a game. I've never done that. Maybe some other places have. I haven't. However, with that all being said, one of the things you asked is about having honest conversations with the guys at the end of spring. And Doug, I would say to that point, absolutely. One of the things that I would like to think our program prides itself in, and me in particular, is I will have honest conversations with my players. And sometimes honest conversations are hard conversations. But at the same time, they're needed. And so when it comes time to have those conversations, then we'll have them. Right now it's not, but when it's time to have those, we will. And at the end of the day, I keep going back to this. I'll always go back to this. Is our jobs are here is to develop our players and then to win football games. And the guys that prove that they can play winning football on a consistent basis and be at their best on a consistent basis, so to be the guys that are going to play. And we'll have those conversations when they need to be had.
Thanks, Tony.
Next up, we'll go with Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports. Steve?
Hey, Coach, I want to ask about Master. It seemed like he may have been a little tentative early in the season, but the Indiana game seemed like he really hit his stride and broke a big one there. And how important was that for him and maybe his development, just what you saw out of him, and then for this spring, what you want to see him improve on and take his game to another level?
Yeah, I think it was good for him. It was good for everybody. To see that he could break a long one and sustain that. So that was good. And then I think moving forward, just his ability to make plays in space, When I say in space, when we do get it cracked to the second or third level, I think that what Coach Stud has done with our offensive line and then the scheme and with that is, I think we have a chance to be elite there, and which is going to provide opportunities for the backs to get into the second or third level defenses. And then when we get back there, now we have to go to work. We have to be able to do things at that level, the defense, and make guys miss and, be able to make big plays and generate big play opportunities for ourselves. And that's going to be the biggest thing is that when we get out there, that can we go make those plays? Yeah, and those are things I'd like to see, not just Master, but all of us be able to work on as we move through the spring.
Yeah, thanks.
Next up, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Bill.
I thought it was interesting when we talked to TreVeyon and Evan. TreVeyon said he can't wait to get hit tomorrow, and Evan's like, I can't wait to not get hit because he score touchdowns. Can you kind of just describe what has stood out about each of those guys, and didn't that surprise you, those answers?
Well, they haven't played football in a long time. You think about the last time those guys played, they were juniors in high school. And so I think that we've got to, I won't say temper, that's probably not the right word, but understand that they haven't played with 22 guys on the field, in a long time. And it's funny hearing him say, I can't wait to get hit. Well, don't worry, buddy, it's coming. It'll be upon you here soon. But no, the thing that's probably impressed me the most is just their eagerness to learn. They're really hungry to learn and to try to take it all in. They're both extremely, extremely coachable kids. They're always on a quest of give me more, give me more. When you start coaching them, you start correcting them. They don't take it personal. It's not a personal attack at them. They want to know, hey, what can I do better here? These kids. It's funny. I got a FaceTime call on a Sunday. This was weeks ago, mind you. It was on a Sunday. I get a FaceTime call about 8 at night. And these two they have somehow figured out how to get into the facility on a Sunday night, and they're working on pass protection. And they're having, one of the other receivers is with them holding up a camera and having me coach them through some drill stuff and pass protection drill stuff on a Sunday night. And, I think it was late January. Early February. So they're just hungry. They're hungry to learn, and they're great kids, and they're coachable, and they want to be, they're good teammates. And everybody wanted to pit them against one another. That's the thing. A lot of people try to pit each player against another player, and they're just not their roommates. But then, you talk about our room. These kids, they want to help each other become better. And so they help. So it's not a deal where they're pitting one skills versus the next and kind of looking over the shoulder. We don't have that type of room, that type of environment, and these kids fit right in. And I'm thrilled. Thrilled where they're at. I'm thrilled with the development that they've shown thus far. And now we got to get better. We got to get better in a hurry. But I'm very pleased with where they're at this juncture.
Who's a better cook? They're competitive.
Better cook? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Evan says he's the best, so I'm. Something though. They're more than welcome to come to my house, and I'm more than willing to eat and see who can do what.
Next up, we'll go to Tony Girdman, Buckeye Scoop. Tony.
Hey, Tony, I want to ask about Marcus Crowley, who finally got to get back last year late. How close is he to returning to his freshman form and then being even better than that? He said it took a little while he's cutting better now than he was last year, but how was that for him last year? What did you see from him, and what are you seeing from him now?
Well, I think last year, he's a little frustrated as we went through the year and, wasn't playing much, and as he was coming back from injury and he had some setbacks and things like that. But, quick story is we're playing the Alabama game, and, he gets tackled he has a couple carries and things happen. He gets tackled, we're standing on the sideline. And he looks up and he says, hey, he goes, man, I apologize. This is the middle of the game. I said, apologize. What are you talking about? He goes, you've been saying I wasn't ready. And he goes, and I'm not. He goes, you're right. And it took him playing, kind of getting knocked off balance because he wasn't strong enough and things like that, where he upon himself, he was like, yeah, I see it. You're right. And sometimes, again, those are hard conversations, but the real conversations, right? And but now he is. I think he's getting better. And he's really has done a good job of committing himself or trying to commit himself to getting stronger and just more girth and strength, so he doesn't get knocked off his feet as easily. Has changed direction, but Mark's a competitive kid, and he's had a really good off season. He's had a really good off season. So I'm anxious to see where this continues to go. He's gaining the weight. He's getting the weight on that we want him to have. Now is he going to be able to hold it and sustain the weight as we want him to do? But he's had a really good focus. He's had a really good focus this past couple months during the off season as we move into the spring, and I'm really excited to see what he does, because Marcus got a lot of talent.
Next up, we'll go Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com. Nathan.
Hey, hold on, Nathan. Hold on. Tim, who are you waving to?
I'm just trying to get Jerry's attention.
Oh, I got you.
I'm back on mute now.
All right, Nathan.
Yeah, I'm just curious. A year ago at this time, you were down to one scholarship running back after Master got hurt, and then, as other people said earlier, now you've got 6. How, as a coach or as a motivator, how do you sort of cultivate that in this spring and in the off season to try to get, I guess, to that best result of finding that 1 or 2 guys who can separate?
Well, you got to put them in competitive situations, and one of the things I said to them is every detail. And I said it this morning to them. Every single detail matters. When we're sitting in a meeting and I ask the question, they all have these laser pointers, and I ask the question, well, how do you answer the question? Do you answer definitively? Are you right? Are you wrong? That's a rep. When we go out on the practice field and we run a drill, did you do it right? Did you do it as hard as we want you to do it? In our adage of 4 to 6, A to B, that's a drill. So, when the talent's equated, and there's a lot of talent in our room, the small things are gonna tip the scales, if you will. And when opportunities exist where you got to make a play, maybe it's a simple swing route. Did you catch it, or did you not? Were you able to sustain a block on blitz pickup, or were you not? So all these little things are going to matter, because the talent is equated in a lot of ways, and the guys that are consistently great over the course of time, and that's how they're going to separate themselves.
Next up, Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports. Dave.
Hi, Tony.
Hi.
I imagine this must be extremely exciting for you personally. I mean, I know you guys are working your butts off, but you put this running back room together through your recruiting. What's been going through your mind as you finally get a chance to see all 6 of them out there together practicing?
It's great. I mean, one, just to have the sheer numbers, right? The sheer numbers of guys, and so it's fun, and they're fun kids. That's the biggest thing. It's a joy to come to work, because I would speak for our whole locker room for the most part, but I will just talk about my room. That there's not a whole lot of foolishness going on in my room with academics and for issues academically or social issues, knock on wood. I just don't. These kids, they're fun-loving guys. They've got a great demeanor about them. They come to work every day. You ask them, hey, be here at this time, be ready to go. They are. They do what you ask them to do when you ask them to do it. There's not a lot of guys pouting and frowning and rolling their eyes when you say something to them. They want to be coached. So this is a fun group to be around. And so I'm blessed with this type of kids that are in that room. I really am. And I don't say that tongue in cheek. I mean that. They are a phenomenal group of kids to be around. And if their families were to be able to sit back and watch the whole dynamics of it, they'd be proud of their kids, just the way they represent not just Ohio State football, but how they represent their family names. And that's a big deal to, of who they are and what their own personal brands are. And, so again, they're a fun group to be around, man.
Just a quick follow-up. You talked about the camaraderie with the running backs, and that's something that's not just unique to this group. It's kind of gone back through some of your other running back rooms. Do you think that's unique to Ohio State? You played the position. I mean, you guys are all battling for the same job, but you think that's a unique thing at Ohio State where the running backs all kind of get along, or do you think that's more of a trend across college football?
Well, I can't speak for other teams, so I won't even try. I know for us that it's not unique for us because that's who we've always been. And I think during the recruitment process, that happens. You know, I'll use Evan and Trey as an example. Evan committed first, and he helped recruit Trey. Those guys helped recruit one another, and they were talking all the time. So those guys, so all of a sudden when you thrust them into a room together, they're already friends. They already know each other, and they're comfortable with one another. And I think they all understand that in order for one to have success, they better hope that their buddies behind them can have success too, because you need more than one guy that can play and to help the team succeed. And they've taken to that, but that's become the culture of I do believe not just the culture of Ohio State running backs, but the culture of our entire locker room. And I think that's cultivated from the top down, starting with our head coach. But when we recruit guys, we want to get them together. We want them to know each other, so we're not pitting one against the other. You know, I had one school, and I won't say what school it was, but there was one school that tried to pit those two against each other and say, well, you know, they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that. Well, had that school done any amount of research, they'd have found out that those kids knew better, because they were intricately involved in the recruitment of the other guy. And so that's how we've done. I'm not saying that's the way to do it. That's how we've done it. And I've done it in our room, and it's been successful for us. And hopefully we'll continue as such.
Thank you, Tony.
Folks, we have time for just a couple more. We'll go next up with Austin Ward, Lettermen Row.
Hey, Tony. I want to take away some of your normal things. You don't have a crystal ball. We know you've never had, 6 guys quite like this, open competition, all that. But how much time did you spend thinking about the way you might structure practice if it's open for all 6? Is it different from other position battles that you've had? Like this spring, it has to have been a little bit different for you mentally, maybe, to prepare for it.
Yeah, one of the things I've talked to them all about this, that there'll be some days that some guys are going to get more reps than others, and they need to understand that. But I think if you're up front, again, we talk about conversations and open, transparent conversations and honest conversations. I think as we go through the spring, and these guys will tell you, there are times I'm going to say, listen, today this guy's going to get more reps here, or tomorrow it's going to be this guy, or today it may be you, because there's certain things I have to design to see. And again, it's all about putting people in competitive situations. And so if I know that, for instance, hey, this guy needs a little bit more pass protection, I got to see if he can do it. All right, well, then you're out of this drill and this guy's in this drill, right? And because I've got to check his water on this deal and see how he does. And but it is, I haven't been in a situation where I've had this many guys that we've got to get reps for, to see not only, but say, well, see that he can't do it. Well, maybe I want to see that he can do it, right? And you use the positive side of it. So it's a little unique, it's a little unique since previous years, but it's also a fun challenge. I think it's for me as a coach, as to make sure that every single day that I come in here into this building, I've got to be prepared and have a very clear, concise plan of exactly how I want to attack this day, so that nothing gets lost in the shuffle. We don't have time for it to say, well, let's just see what happens. We can't do that. And so I've got to make sure that every single day I walk in here, me and Riley Jefferson, who's working directly with me, that we have a real clear, concise plan of how we want to attack it.
Thanks, man.
And something is, but I haven't been to Wyoming in a while. Have you?
Well, come on, let's go. I'll show you around.
No, that's all right. I'm good. I don't need to go there.
Next up, we'll go with Dan Hope, 11 Warriors. Dan?
Hey, Tony, there's been some speculation about, maybe Steele Chambers could end up at linebacker at some point. Just wondering, is that something you guys are looking at all?
I've heard that speculation. I'm not sure where it came from. It didn't come out of this office. But no, I haven't. It's not something that I've had any conversations with his family, or with Coach Day. Steele Chambers is focused on being the best running back that he can be, and I'm focused on helping him become that, the best that he can be here, and we'll go from there.
Where is he at right now? How are you pleased with his development at this point?
Really good. He's had, again, now we're in shorts, mind you. we're just in shorts, but he's looked really good. The biggest thing I want Steele to do is to exude confidence in, his own self-confidence. And Steele's a perfectionist by nature. And there are times that he can get down on himself if something doesn't go just as he planned, exactly the way that he had concocted the plan in his own mind. And, one of the things I can help him do is continually remind him that, hey, there's a little bump in the road here. We're good. Don't get flustered. Don't let one play affect the next. Meaning, if you didn't do something right on this play, don't let it affect the next play and the next play. Or a lot of times he does something right and he goes, oh, well, that wasn't good enough. Like, hey, man, champion what you've done, and where you've been. And but he's getting better at that. So I'm anxious to see. But he's had a good off season.
Thanks, Tony.
Next up, Jeremy Birmingham, Lettermen Row. Jeremy.
Hey, Tony, bear with me here. It might take me a minute to get there, but for most of us on the outside looking in, we see the three tiers of the room, right? There's Master, who's the presumptive starter. There's Miyan and Marcus and Steele in the middle. And then there's the young guys with the true freshmen that maybe have, just getting started. Which of those three groups, if I'm accurate, has the most pressure this spring? Like, who do you need to see the most from this spring?
Wow, that's damn, that's a loaded question, right? I mean, I guess I haven't thought of it that way. And to directly answer your question, I haven't thought of it that way. I think that every one of them has things that they need to most certainly improve on. Every one of them has certain things that I need to see from them. To say which group has the most pressure, I can't answer that. I mean, that's hard. That Jimmy, with all due respect, is a great question, but to say which group has the most pressure, I don't know if I'm prepared to say if one has more pressure than the next. My thing is to see the daily improvement within individually and then collectively as a unit, the improvement as we move forward, because this thing's going to get ramped up here starting tomorrow, right? The pads come on, so this thing's going to get ramped up rapidly. And we just want to see the guys up and compete and just get better. And they all know what they need to get better at. So it's not like it's some vague thing. Well, get better. What's that mean? That's a vague term where every single guy knows I've got to get better at this. And I got to get better at this. And I know that because we've had those discussions with them as well. So I've got to make sure that that I'm putting them in situations that's going to show their development in that way. But to say which group has more pressure, I don't know if I'm prepared to say that, with all due respect.
Totally understand. That's why I wanted to ask you a difficult question, so I did.
And you did.
All right, final two questions. Next up, Patrick Murphy, 24/7 Sports. Patrick.
Hey, Tony. Going back to Steve's question about Master, I know an Achilles injury is not an easy thing to come back from.
Right.
And, obviously he was able to get back, and I assume having some extra time helped that. But there's been guys in the past, whether it be any position, any sport, that maybe come back and then they're still better, a year later or so, as they continue to kind of heal and get comfortable with that. Are you seeing any of that from him? Is he starting to look maybe the player he was before he got hurt last spring? Or do you think he was 100% heading into fall camp or to fall last year?
Well, I don't know if he was 100% at the beginning. I think he was, I don't know. You'd have to ask him if he was 100%, right? I thought that he was back by the end of the season. I most certainly thought he was back, and he's perfectly back now. But to come off that injury the way he did, a lot of guys couldn't pull that off. Now, I do think that he's kind of a genetic freak in some regards, in a good way, but he's also an unbelievable worker. As far as his commitment to taking care of his body, his commitment to doing things the right way, his commitment to being regimented and having a routine, he's unbelievable that way. And so to say that it shocked you that he got back the way he did, no, because that's just how that kid is built. But I think he's back.
And final question today for Coach Alford. We'll go with Tim May from the Tim May podcast. Tim?
Here we go, Tim. God bless you.
I know, man. I was holding my breath there, man. I was deep sea diving. Hey, Tony, number one, you were a bell cow at one point in your career. And I wanted to ask you how much that helped your confidence knowing you were the guy, you know what I mean, from day to day. And then past that, I know you're paying attention to the big picture. What is your sense of the talent that is at the quarterback position for you guys going into this spring? You know, I mean, from a depth standpoint, what's impressed you about those guys?
Yeah, well, to your first question to me about being a bell cow, we could go a lot of different directions with that question. The game's obviously different, right?
Yeah.
That's a different game, and Earl Bruce run football teams, and offenses are vastly different than what we're doing now. But I guess I look back and say that it was good for me because I knew that no matter what happened, I was going to be fine, other than putting the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
But I knew that, hey, I'm fine here. Just because it's a 2-yard carry, 3-yard carry doesn't mean I'm getting yanked out. And guess what? I'm going back into the next series too. And it took its toll, on your body a little bit, but it is what it is. They're competitive guys, so you like that. But I think that being able to get into that routine was good, and just for the mental makeup of it was good. So I understand that, as a player, I do completely understand that and respect that. So, and then to your second question, just about the talent in the room, in the quarterback room, extremely talented guys. They all have big arms and can throw it, and they're great kids. I know they don't have a lot. They're not steeped with experience, but what I have seen from outside the room, watching them, is they're all highly competitive guys. Again, very much like my room. They seem really good together, and they help one another out. Corey does a great job in there. Now, all of a sudden, we brought Todd Fitch, who I worked with previous years at Iowa State. I've known him back to my college days. When he was at Colorado State, I was just getting done playing there at Colorado State when he took the job, and helped recruit my late brother. So I've known Todd a long time. Phenomenal coach with great knowledge. And but I think it's a great room. From the outside looking in, I think it's a great room, and all those guys have some innate leadership qualities, and as they're continuing to just get better, like the rest of our football team is.
It's the toughest thing to do to teach your guys to have patience. You understand what I mean? From a read on a play to like kind of waiting your turn. Is that the toughest thing?
Absolutely, because it's if you ask anybody that really knows me intimately, patience is not one of my it's not one of my better traits. That's putting it mildly. Just ask my children, but and ask my players. I'm not a real patient person, and so you don't say, "Hey, be patient. Wait your turn for what?" I'm not trying to wait my turn for what.
Yeah.
Come take a job. J.K. Dobbins. Don't ask him if he was patient.
Yeah.
They're not patient. They're not patient by nature. And so I'm not trying to instill. I don't want them to be patient. Absolutely not. Come take a job. Show me, show the staff that we have to play you. That I don't have a choice but to play you because you are by far the best guy we got. Show me. Don't tell me, show me. And so, yeah, we're not teaching patience. Now, the same understanding, if you're not playing, they don't want you to go off the rails either and throw some tantrums and go off the rails that way either, and just continue to work and get better. But yeah, that's but again, those are highly competitive guys, and so when you recruit them, you know that going in. That okay, we got to temper that, and that's part of the dynamics of the room and dealing with the dynamics of the room, but knowing the people that are in your room.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, guys. You guys have a great afternoon.
You too, man.
I can't really hear you, Jerry.
Jerry, you're muted.
Jerry, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that Steele Johnson had an 11:45 class and had to grab some food right after the